Hey everyone, welcome back to Reading with Tatiana. Today I'm reviewing Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica, and I gave this book a 5 out of 5. My Booktuber shout today is to Erin Moose. She recently hit 800 subscribers, so if you want to check out her channel, I'll link it down below. Congrats on 800 subscribers. And as always, before I go into my full book review, I would appreciate it if you can hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have read this book, I would love to hear your thoughts below in the comment section. Local Woman Missing was published in 2021, and the genre I would put it in is thriller or suspense. A bit about the author, Mary Kubica. So she is an American and she went to school to major in history and literature, and she went to school at Miami University, which I am sharing because fun fact is not in Miami or Florida, it's actually in Ohio. She was a former high school teacher and she currently resides just outside of Chicago with her husband and 2 kids. Mary's debut novel was in 2014 called Good Girl, and fun fact is she actually submitted to like hundreds of agents before she even got one to be interested in it. So in an interview I read, she really pushes writers and aspiring writers to always keep going and never give up, because you just need one person to say yes. Local Woman Missing is her 7th novel, and she actually has an 8th novel coming out in early 2023 called Just the Nicest Couple. I believe all her books are in the thriller/suspense genre, so I probably am a fan now and will read her future books. As this is a thriller and quite a page turner, I'm doing a very brief story about the book because I don't want to ruin it and it's definitely worth reading. So the story starts with we meet Shelby, and she is a recent mother. Her husband always works super late and always comes home super late, and she suspects that he's cheating, but she doesn't really care because actually she is also cheating. So he comes home late for work and she goes for a run to take a well-deserved break from being a new mother, but she actually is using the run as a guise to meet her lover. And during this run, she disappears and no one knows what happens to her. A week later, Meredith and her daughter Delia, who's also in the same suburb or town, also goes missing, and people don't know why either. So it's like a week and 2 women and a child go missing. Very suspicious and a very usually safe suburban otherwise. And we fast forward to 11 years later, and Delia, the daughter who was missing when she was 6 years old, is now 11 years older, and she was kept in the basement that was dark and she couldn't see anything and she was underfed. Even though she's supposed to be 17, she has the body and like the growth of like a young child still. And Delia starts sharing what she remembers, and that's where I'm going to stop because I don't want to reveal or ruin the story. But as you can see, the premise is what happened, and how is this person missing for 11 years and come back, but where's the mother? So that's the premise of the book. I will say that there's tons of characters in this novel, and I really enjoyed that it's kind of like set in the suburb, and we kind of get different slices of different types of families. So there's a bunch of like nuclear families, families that are well established, and also like families that have no kids. Also, there isn't just heterosexual couples, there's also a lesbian couple. So I think this book is really great because even though it's a thriller and suspense, it's a slice of life in terms of like the demographics of a suburban. Common themes I noticed in this book, as is a thriller, is it talks about a lot about double lives. So we get a sneak peek of every couple in the suburb, and you think you know your partner and you know everything about them because you made this commitment to be husband and wife or wife and wife. But a lot of these people have a second life, or maybe something from their past that they haven't shared with their partner. So there's that common theme that persists throughout the novel. Another thing that comes out is the past comes to haunt you, and as someone that, if you're married to someone, like, do you disclose everything from your past, or some things better left not shared, but what if it comes back to haunt you and you kind of lose that type of trust? So I thought that was interesting as well. And also the book also touches a lot on, because Meredith, the mother who goes missing with the daughter 11 years ago, the husband and the son were kind of left to mourn or grief that the mom and daughter was missing from the family. So it kind of talks about that too, and what happens if someone was missing for 11 years in your life. You probably assume they are dead, and when they come back, how does that make you feel? Like, is there an instant connection right away? Like, you missed 11 years together. So these are all topics in the book cover, and I think it's just really good for talking about, especially putting yourself in that situation. Things I didn't like about the book, I did give it a 5 out of 5. So the only thing I would share is that the chapters jump a lot between present day and 11 years ago. But like every chapter, there's a header for that, which is kind of confusing because the previous chapter, for example, would be like present day and next chapter would be present day. But I feel like they don't need to do that and just have no header because we can just assume that's continuing. So it was kind of confusing sometimes on where you were in the story, if it was present day or 11 years. Things I really enjoy about the book is as a thriller, it's also a great mystery because there are so many red herrings in the book, and I felt I maybe could have guessed the outcome, but I was always wrong. So I really enjoyed that there were not just one or two red herrings, but many red herrings, which are all plausible in my point of view. Other thing I like was that it's very dramatic. I know if you guys watch my videos, I normally don't like drama in romantic novels, but in the thriller, I really love the drama and it was really done really well. So it was just a page turner for me. And the other thing I like about this book was I was riding the bus and reading it, and a lady actually left her seat and walked over and told me the book was great. So that was really validating. So I know it's a great book and it had that like sense of community with a stranger on the bus, which is really awesome. On Goodreads, this book, Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica, got an average of 4.13 out of 5, which I think, as you guys know, it's a solid read. Having said that, though, this book only came out a year ago, so, give it a few more years to see how the ratings change. When I read the reviews, it was pretty split. People either love or hate this book. I do have to say that as I've just really introduced myself to the thriller genre, it's still very jaw-dropping for me when I read stuff because I haven't picked up on the patterns or the predictability with stories or I guess like shock value plot development. So for me, it's still really good, but maybe the more thrillers I read, maybe eventually it just become like romance and become cheesy. Who knows? So on Goodreads, reasons why people did not enjoy this book is they thought the writing was too simple. It was really short, simple sentences, and it was over describing actions of the characters. I can see that, but it didn't really bother me. But I can see that if you're not really into that type of style, it can really take away from the plot for you. People also thought the characters were very flat and boring and very predictable. And like I said before, I haven't read a lot of thrillers yet, so for me it's still very new and I can't really predict the characters that well. But I can see that if you are a regular reader in this genre, then maybe the story is very predictable. Reasons why people really enjoyed this book is they thought it was a great page turner. The hook, as I described earlier, and the premise of the book really hooked people in. And like honestly, like this book, like as soon as you finish the prologue, which is like 5 pages, it goes like 100 miles per hour. It just like keeps you on the edge of your seat. And people also really enjoy it because the tension was very consistent throughout the book. Why I think you should read this book, Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica, is I think you should read it if you're into thrillers, into page turners, and it's a quite easy read. Like I read it in 2 days. Now I'll share how this book made me feel because as you guys always know, my favorite thing to ask people is how a book made them feel, because if you ask me in a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year from now, I won't remember exactly what happened in the book, but I'll always remember how it made me feel. So this book, Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica, it made me feel on the edge of my seat the whole time. It was going so fast. I just couldn't wait to see what the ending was. And it's just like peeling all these like layers of onions, and like every layer just got more and more like jaw dropping. So that's how this book made me feel, and that's why I gave it a 5 out of 5. Thank you for watching until the end of my book review for Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica. If you want to join me next time, I just started The Henna Artist by Alka Joshi. This is a trilogy, I believe. This is the first of 3 books. So if you like series of novels, then please join me. All right, bye guys.